The first-person perspective brings an extra level of immersion to games, the way it lets you see through the eyes of your character and experience their adventures firsthand. Unfortunately, it also lets you see through the eyes of your character when they get set on fire, whacked in the groin, or surgery. This would be a lot less traumatic in third-person video games, seriously. Here are the most harrowing moments we've had to go through in first person. Be warned, up ahead is lots of horrible gore and spoilers for the following games.
About halfway through Quake 4, you find yourself captured and sent to the fantastically unsanitary Strogg Medical Facility. It's less of a hospital and more of a fleshy factory for making more Strogg soldiers, which are a Borg-style mishmash of salvaged body parts, cybernetic doohickies, and anger management issues. Now, I'm no medical expert, but the, let's say, invasive process of Stroggification seems to focus heavily on being as unnecessarily long and painful as possible. I mean, I'd have thought having your legs chopped off with a rusty sawblade would be bad enough without also being stabbed in the gentleman's area with a giant needle. The rest of the procedure isn't much better, as cybernetic limbs are riveted to the bloody stumps where your extremities used to be, and you're sent off to be forcibly indoctrinated into the mindless ranks of the Strogg army. Fortunately, in this case, you're saved in the nick of time by your buddies in Rhino Squad, who manage to haul you off the assembly line before your brain chip gets activated and you go full Strogg.
Roger that, HQ. Rhino Squad out.
Welcome back to the land of the living, Kane.
You know, I don't want to sound ungrateful, Rhino Squad, but could you not have turned up maybe 2 minutes earlier, before the leg sawing and the groin stabbing bit?
You see, that little Aretino boy was looking for the Dark Brotherhood. For me and my associates. Grelod the Kind was, by all rights, a Dark Brotherhood contract.
Skyrim offers many opportunities for the discerning goth adventurer, but chief among them has to be the questline for the Dark Brotherhood. In this, you join Skyrim's premier assassin club and work your way up the ranks by killing an old woman, a celebrity chef,
oh dear, you're going to kill me now?
and the Emperor.
I must die, and you must deliver the blow. It is simply the way it is.
Fair enough. As you may have gathered, the Dark Brotherhood is a bit eccentric, not least because they have historically taken most of their orders from the mummified corpse of a woman known as the Night Mother that they keep in a coffin in their headquarters. Sheesh. I hear KFC does the same with Colonel Sanders. Anyway, for reasons too convoluted to get into here, at one point you need to eavesdrop on a mad clown, and so you have to get into the coffin with the Night Mother. It is not a big coffin. But Jane, I hear you cry in the comments. Skyrim is a game you can play in third person as well. Well, not this bit, mate. If you're climbing in a coffin with a festering mummy, you're doing it in first person. That's right, get your face nice and close to that desiccated corpse. Still, at least it's dark in here with the lid closed so you don't have to look at it. But then it starts talking to you. Ugh. You know what, the Dark Brotherhood? I'm alright, actually. I'm gonna go see if I can join the Thieves Guild without having to cuddle a 200-year-old mummy.
Defiler! Debaser and defiler! You have violated the sanctity of the Night Mother's coffin! Explain yourself!
Just a kiss. Well, you only live once.
Vigors are the hottest product on sale in BioShock Infinite's Columbia, and no wonder. Because 1, incredible powers. 2, excellent marketing campaign.
1 sweep, and feats of wonderment are at the tips of your fingers.
3, attractive collectible bottles you can put other things in when you've finished all the vigor. And 4, when you drink them for the first time, you get cool effects. Oh, rad. What else you got? Weird. Vigors seem like a pretty good time then, except for when you drink the Devil's Kiss Vigor for the first time and watch your hands burn off in front of your screaming face. This is definitely made worse by the front row first-person view. Also, I feel like a responsible manufacturer should mention somewhere on the bottle that when drunk, this drink will make your hands catch fire, your flesh melt into a puddle, and your finger bones poke out like skeletal twiglets. That's why I'm sticking with the good old Murder of Crows Vigor, which... vicious beaks, bloody, ragged flesh... You know what, I might just have a Coke.
You're still looking, aren't you? I've been cleared to offer you a place on the Torrents if you want to come along. Maybe there'll be some closure for you.
Alien Isolation is basically one 13-hour-long first-person horror show, so you could pick pretty much any moment at random and find yourself more harrowed than the Blair Witch's cleanup crew.
Let's hope this thing works.
It's an animal. Animals are afraid of fire.
All right, not that specific moment, but you get my point. All too often, it's you hiding under a desk and watching one of H.R. Geiger's 7-foot nightmare engines stalking around Sevastopol Station for tasty player flesh. Good luck sleeping after that ordeal. It's not sleep humans need to survive, is it? Alien Isolation ramps up the tension so expertly as you inch around the corridors of Sevastopol that when you do get spotted and chased down by a galloping, screeching space monster, it's one of the most horrifying experiences in gaming. Yes, even more horrifying than that time you accidentally deleted your Final Fantasy VII save. Getting dragged backwards through a vent is bad enough, but the game's pièce de résistance when it comes to harrowing first-person moments is the bit where the alien's tail punctures your gut, which is made all the more creepy by the way he tries to tickle your chin afterwards. At least trim your nails first, jeez.
Where's the ace in the hole?
What? What?
Where's the ace in the hole?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah, the 1950s. What a decade that was, with its unprecedented enthusiasm for hula hoops, sideburns and frontal lobotomies. Oh, and Elvis.
He calls this little trick a transorbital lobotomy.
Even down under the sea in Rapture, these primitive neurosurgical procedures were all the rage for treating conditions like, oh, well, what you got? Anything really.
I keep up on all the medical journals and the like.
I hope you have someone to help you with all the big words.
You know what part of the brain free will comes from? Stubbornness. The prefrontal lobe.
In the case of Elizabeth here, who you're playing as, you're suffering from a serious case of not being successfully interrogated, which calls for the medical attention of amateur brain surgeon Atlas. This amounts to him sticking a giant needle in your eye socket.
I'm moving the pick across your eyeball, still now, and resting it on your skull.
And then hitting it with a hammer. Hooray for medical science!
I don't...
It was just a wee tap. But I don't expect it'll take more than a few of those to reach the meat.
Between the first-person perspective, the flashes of light in your simulated vision, and the very fine voice acting, it's all about as pleasant as eating a live light bulb.
You know what else rests in the lobe? Creativity. Individuality. Personality.
Oh, Atlas, you're the worst. You know, I hope one day someone sticks a giant needle in you.
Pressurizing airlock. Really looking forward to going home. What's it been? 3 months?
Space is awe-inspiring and beautiful, sure, but what Stephen Hawking's books won't tell you is that space is also a stone-cold murderer that will kill you the second it gets a chance.
They tell you that all the time. Didn't you read them?
Not now, Jane. Anyway, you discover the harsh reality of space firsthand at the start of Call of Duty Ghosts, when you take on the role of one of the American crew of Odin, which is a giant space station that can fire tungsten rods at people from space because Call of Duty.
Odin Lane, repeat contact.
But wouldn't you know it, Odin is hijacked by the Federation of the Americas, leaving you no choice but to shoot everyone and then scuttle the station so it can't launch any more attacks on the United States. Then, in first person, you slowly die in the bleak, unforgiving vacuum of space, exactly like that one nightmare I had after I saw Gravity.
Specialist Mosley. Kira. We have LOS with the crew of Odin Control. Repeat, loss of signal with Odin Control.
Where's George Clooney when you need him? Oh, that's right, he died. In space.
Outlast is a series that has never shied away from harrowing first-person experiences. From the finger cutting in the original Outlast, I think we have a clip.
You paying attention?
To having your genitals menaced with a circular saw in the Outlast Whistleblower DLC. Actually, let's not do a clip of that one. Anyway, it's good to see Outlast keeping the tradition alive with Outlast 2, the demo for which sees you take control of a cameraman trying to solve a murder in Arizona. Not trying very hard, it turns out, as instead of doing any actual investigating, he spends most of his time being freaked out by ghosts, chased through cornfields, and pulled into wells by tongue monsters. None of which is getting this murder solved, man. Anyway, this stuff is all moot because there is shortly another murder, only this time the victim is you, and this one is way easier to solve. I don't need to consult my mind palace to figure out that the murderer is this jerk with the axe, and the cause of death is axe to the crotch. Still, it is a demo. You've got to put the good stuff in there so people will buy the full game, right? Get all the groin trauma in there so people know what you're all about. Outlast, why are you like this?
There, everyone's dead. Are you happy now?
Yeah, I am.
US invasion simulator Homefront imagines the bleak awfulness of being occupied and oppressed by an advanced foreign force. But in case you somehow missed the bleak awfulness of the cruelty and executions and flags, Homefront went on to rub your face in it by rubbing your face in it, where it is a shallow pit full of the corpses of your countrymen in the initial stages of decomposition, up close and in first person.
What do we do?
Get in.
What?
Get in.
Ah, jeez. By way of context, this is a bit where you have to interactively clamber into a mass grave with your freedom fighter pals, where you drape yourself with the dead limbs of murdered friendlies to avoid being detected by enemy forces. This presumably is intended to bring to mind any number of grotesque real-life war atrocities involving massacres, but you know, with a button prompt.
Lie down!
The worst thing to do is be hammering the action button before you get the prompt, like you're really keen to get involved in this mass grave. You have to leave it like a second or two, register your moral conflict, before you dive in like it's a ball pit.
Connor, where are you guys?
We're gonna be late. Just sit tight.
Those were some of the most harrowing moments we've had to go through in first person. I tell you what isn't harrowing though, and that's more videos from Outside Xbox and our sister channel Outside Extra. Here they are, look how unharrowing they are. Very peaceful and friendly, and nothing will jump out at you or hit you in the junk with an axe. So click on one of these two videos and enjoy yourself. And no junk trauma guaranteed. That's the Outside Xbox guarantee.
We can't guarantee that.
We definitely can guarantee that.